Yeah. Okay. So, hello, my name's Julia Parks,
And I'm Felicity Bristow.
and we're going to be talking to you about the Creative Business Network, better known as CABN. So, and we'll be looking at this through the lens of capacity, as well as telling you a bit about CABN in transition. So,
So, CABN in transition, it's been quite a 12 months, as many of you will know. And certainly many people in this room helped to support CABN and help it to transition. CABN's a project which has over 13 years of legacy work and was run by Mary Morrison, who's in the audience. And I worked with her freelance during that time, supporting communications. We're currently in transition. We are finding this as a process quite interesting. We all work remotely and we're all learning as a new team to come together for this project. So bear with us, because what we're talking about is a little bit about the legacy of CABN and also what's kind of coming up in the future.
So I thought it would be good if we introduced ourselves a little bit more and tell you where we're coming from. So my background's in filmmaking, but I also have a background in project managing. I'm from Cumbria, and I came to the Borders to work at Alchemy through an artist in residence programme. And it was from doing that I really decided that I wanted to stay here. So that's kind of why I'm in the Borders.
And Jessie is in the audience.
Oh yes, sorry, Jessie. I'm my role was to introduce my other half. So I'm the catalyst for engagement at CABN, and I share my role with Jessie. And Jessie is also a filmmaker, video artist, and Jessie has a background in doing publicity for organisations such as Alchemy Film and Arts, and she was a founding member of the Moving Image Makers Collective. So we've actually got slightly different skill sets, but hopefully we bring them together in an excellent engagement team. So yeah, that's a little bit about Jessie.
You do, that's brilliant. So I am the catalyst for transition, and it's in terms of my background. I originally trained and practiced as an architect. My hat I would say now is as artist and designer. And my work is printmaking and artist books and training to be a fine bookbinder as well. But I've worked, as I said previously, with Mary on the CABN project, and part of this handover process is to also try and keep some of the legacy through my knowledge as well, and working with the new team. So yeah. As CABN has been transitioning, the volunteer steering group, who were brought together last year, developed a model for what our roles are. You can see this diagram on the left here, that the models are based on a kind of democratic model, but there is overlap, and that is how we're working together as a team. This model isn't strictly correct because we're not strictly cubes, one either side. But because we've got two people, but this is part of our capacity modelling, that we've got two people working, sharing one role, and I'm doing the other. So, but it is something that's already evolved in terms of how we're working together. Our current challenge is how we transition, how we maintain continuity for the CABN project, how we communicate that, and how we secure its legacy. I was just going to, I'm just going to go back one. There was one little thing. Sorry. I was just going to explain in terms of how we're managed as well. We're managed by a consortium from our funders. So we're funded by the Place Partnership, which is Creative Scotland and Scottish Borders Council. We've got some funding from SOSE, and we're also hosted by Southern Utland Partnership, who provide additional admin and financial kind of accountability. Sorry, okay. So the main aim of CABN is to continue to develop the professional creative sector here in the Borders. And what we're doing we're looking at a plan for this year, but also considering the next 5 years as well, how we will create a sustainable model for CABN. We're going to take the time to review the legacy work, as a team, we're having to get to know the area more, the network more, and the projects as well. It's been brilliant to be able to work with Mary and her role before she left Live Borders, because she was able to hand over a lot of that information as well. But as you'd expect, there's a wealth of information that we can draw upon.
So I guess the core function of CABN is the network, and that's connecting individuals, organisations, exchanging knowledge and collaborating, which I guess we're all doing here today. This is in practice. And in terms of I guess where you may have come across us, you may be signed up to our newsletter. We have a bi-weekly newsletter that goes out, and we share activities that are happening in Borders, but we also look further afield for opportunities. Our network covers a really broad arts, culture, business background. I'll go into that in a little bit more. So we're often looking for opportunities in music. It might be visual arts, it might be craft. So it is broad. In the first couple of months, so we're very new to the job. I haven't lived in the Borders for a huge amount of time, so I'm really getting to know the area as well as getting to know people locally. Some of the practical things we've been up to is redesigning the e-bulletin to make it easier to read, and also just trying to get to meet the network, as Felicity described. So so one of the areas that I'm really keen on is this, and developing more, is CABN has always had this advocate scheme, which is where people who are professionals in certain fields in the creative arts and business act as advocates as part of the network. So currently you can see we have some people in place, but we're currently looking to fill the vacant areas, and we've added additional advocates as well. So we wanted to add one film, moving image and media, a massively important area in the Borders, and also a young people engagement group as well, to reach younger people within the network. Advocates can take the role of supporting our transition, the development of projects, but also offering one-to-one advice sessions. And one of the things we're really keen to develop is a kind of mentoring scheme, which will involve the advocates and potentially other people as well. So they work on a freelance basis, but that basically means that it's not just, the network isn't just our skills knowledge base. It brings in a lot of other expertise in those other fields.
And it could be an area that, as the year progresses, we look at developing variations on this model as well, so that it's not just one-to-one, it's about building capacity locally and broadening it out as well. So I think we're keen to do that, aren't we?
So what do we actually offer now? So one-to-one support. So you can get in touch with us over the phone, by email, and face-to-face at events like this. Obviously, I mentioned the mentoring scheme. We've applied for additional funding. We'd like to re-implement some of the courses that CABN ran previously, such as Shift. Going through the evaluation for that was really popular with creative businesses around rebranding and business development. And we're also hoping to have the trade fair grants, which is a bursary for makers to actually go to trade fairs across the UK. Next one. In terms of people in place, one of the areas also Jessie and I are looking at really closely, as well as Felicity, is around diversity and inclusion. Jessie and I took part in anti-racist workshops with SCAN, the Scottish Arts SCAN. I've forgotten what it stands for, just before Christmas, and we're kind of part of a network now, and that's going to be a really big area of focus for us, as well as actually developing new policies which we don't currently have. So there's a lot of work for us to do.
And part of this process as well is reviewing where we are and what's actually going on, and trying to react to one specific area being climate action for and how CABN can respond to that and how it can support the network. So as an organisation, we're now a member of the Green Arts Initiative, which I think was mentioned this morning. And so we're starting a review of how we establish the new model, and we're trying from the kind of because this is essentially a new starting from scratch, although there's a big legacy of project work. So we're reviewing our methods of working, looking at more environmentally friendly cloud working, because we all work remotely. So we've been looking at Greenpeace reports in terms of recommendations of where to start. So we're doing, when we can't claim to be kind of net zero now, but we're looking at making our best attempt to make changes and bring them in from the start. So in terms of our working practice. We've also started the CABN swap shop, which we had the first one at Manifest just at Christmas. So that's an opportunity for creatives to bring along materials, books, and it's a free swap shop. Bring along, take away what can be useful as well. So trying to encourage a more direct approach to reuse, recycling as well. And it seems to be quite a positive thing to start, but I think if we repeat at other events as well, hopefully people will realise what's coming up and assume we'll have one, so we'll look at using that model. Wellbeing for creatives is something that CABN has always had projects about this. We want to review those projects and look at how we can move forward with partners previously worked with and new partners to look at arts and mental health for individuals as well as business as well. That's something we're quite keen to pursue.
And lastly, one of the areas that we really want to bring back is Pecha Kucha, or Pachacha, as Jessie likes to call it. It's up for debate. So that's fast-paced presentations around different subjects that people want to bring to us a lot faster than the presentation we're delivering today. And also Manifest, we did run Manifest this year and it was great to meet lots of people. It's been added to the end of the presentation, so I guess we're doing it again at the end of this year. Okay, and yeah.
Great. So just to talk a little bit about in terms of capacity and collaboration and partnership, CABN very much relied on the support of a volunteer advisory group last year, or steering group, helping to navigate what was a very difficult position. We're hoping to continue and open up this group, but with a slight shift in terms of the format to as a CABN network advisory group. We'll be looking at running a few events, which we're looking at the CABN manifesto. Also ways of working in the borders in response to climate crisis, resilience and well-being, how we can support people. A lot of people, I think we've mentioned previously, work on their own. The sense of isolation is something I think a lot of people experience. So we'll be looking to provide social aspects to some of our events as well. And also looking at pathways for young creatives. And we've had some initial discussions with some potential partnerships and hope that that can be something we can collaborate on as well. So this is looking at routes for helping young people to see how creatives have kind of moved through their own practice and where they started from and what's possible. A lot of schools don't have a very direct or don't have links to creative business in this way, so we feel that there's a gap that we can work with as well.
Yeah, and just we're coming close to the end, but we just wanted to let you know about a couple of events that we've partnered with different organisations on. So there's the Arts Community in Place event on the Tuesday, the 7th of March at Maca. Well, here, actually, it's going to be here. And one of the things that we suggested was that there was bursaries available for people to attend. So this makes events as accessible as they can be. Obviously a lot of artists are freelancers on very low incomes. So we're going to be advocating at all chances for people to be have opportunities to be paid. We've got the RSA event coming up on the Anne's on so I don't. Can people go to Anne and ask?
So there'll be information coming out about that, won't there?
Yeah.
Yeah, and we'll share that via the bulletin. But it'll be a panel event where we're as a response to climate action challenges for creatives. So it's a broad invitation to discuss and consult with the network and with the RSA network as well. So it should be interesting evening. We've also started discussions with Creative Carbon Scotland and collaborating with Connecting Threads project to bring a springboard local assembly to the borders. So this is a event that they're very keen for us to design it so that it suits the geography of the borders. So we're thinking about having 2 events, an east and a west, so we can bring communities and run the workshops that are part of the springboard. Creative Carbon Scotland facilitate this event, but CABN can help support this by bringing people together. So we hope that you keep in touch and would like to become part of that as well. So this is I guess it's another network which we may groan about, but it is a way of bringing people together, and there have been several across Scotland already, and we'll provide more information about that shortly.
Hang on a minute. Were we on the wrong slide before?
I don't know.
Maybe it
was fine. We were looking.
Okay. That's us. So thank you very much for listening. If you'd like to get in contact with us, all of us have access to the hello@CABN info. So please do get in contact with us or come and chat to us at the end. Thanks a lot for listening. Thank you.